Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another virtual wargaming live battle report. Today I'm testing out a new format for Warhammer Fantasy 6th edition that I'm calling Little Lords. It's based on Warbands, the format that most of my videos have been in the past. So, in case you don't know what Warbands is, because I realized that while I make content for it, I don't really explain how it works. Warbands is a system that is meant to be played between about 200 to 500 points. You theoretically can go lower, but some factions have no army representation at those lower points. I think like high elves can't get below 150 and stuff like that. For Warbands, the way it works is that you have a minimum of 2 core units, 1 special, 1 rare, and up to 10 units total. The rare can be a second special if you'd like. The big difference is that you are only required to bring a minimum of 3 models to an infantry unit, 2 models to a cavalry unit, or 1 model to a monsters unit. So, for instance, where you would normally be required to bring 5 Knights of the Realm, I can just bring 3 of them, or 5 Peasant Bowmen instead of 10. You are also required to have a commander, which can be either a character, which can go up to 150 points in cost, or a unit champion. But to have a unit champion, you need to have a unit at a minimum unit size. So you'll need 5 or 10 models typically to be able to get the commander for that unit, which would then serve as your general. Then from there, it's not that different actually. There's a random scenario that you can put together, which is what I'm running today, with some random event objectives. In this case, both sides got the assassinate objective, so they're trying to kill their leaders. What makes Little Lords different? Well, I wanted to put Lord tier characters into games. So, in Little Lords, you have 400 points to spend on your army, and 500 points to spend on a Lord. For every point that you don't spend, for every 5 points not spent on the Lord, you get 1 extra point for the rest of the army. So, for instance, my Bretonnian Lord in this game costs 438 points. That translates to 88 points, because we round up to 440, and then that means that he gets an extra 12? Yes, 12 points for the rest of his army. Other than that, it's just a standard game, really. The reason that I decided I wanted to try out Little Lords, partly, Lord characters are cool, but I don't want to play 2,000 point games to get them. And partly, I have been toying with doing another campaign similar to the Battle for Gold Manor, I think it was called. My previous Warbands campaign. That one petered out because I've played up to turn 12, and it became very undramatic and very boring very quickly, and I went, I don't think this is going to make for good content anymore, which is the main reason that I stopped doing it. But I've been thinking about doing another one, and for that I wanted big, stronger characters to lead the armies, and so I thought having a Lord, and a very powerful character in those armies would be great. To see if that works, Little Lords, this is how I'm going to test it out. Alright, so with that, a long, rambly explanation out of the way, let's jump into introducing our armies. Today I have Bretonnia and I have Lizardmen. So for Bretonnia, we have a Bretonnian Lord. He is labeled as a paladin because I cannot write things correctly. He is mounted on a hippogriff, he has the Grail Vow, carries an enchanted shield, wears a Cromwell Great Hat, has the Sword of the Ladies Champion, and has taken the Virtue of Purity. That means that he gets better ward saves, he is on a monster, he has way better armor saves, and... One moment, I have made a mistake with my notes. Let me quickly fix that. Alright, and I am back. I had mistakenly written down the Birth Sword of Carcassone's abilities rather than the Sword of the Ladies Champion in my notes. But the Sword of the Ladies Champion treats the attacker's strength as being 1 higher than the target's toughness. And I think that is everything that I need to cover for him. If not, comment, yell at me so that I know to tell you what else there is. In addition, for the rest of the army, we have a unit of 3 Knights of the Realm, 3 knight-errants, 10 men-at-arms, 2 units of 5 peasant bowmen, 1 of which can skirmish, 1 which can't. Technically, this unit here should have spikes in front of them, but I don't want to make spike models, and I'm going to move them very soon, so it doesn't matter. In addition to that, we have 3 mounted yeomen, which have shields in addition to their usual equipment. And then finally, 3 Grail Knights. Standing opposite them, we have our Lizardmen. And for our Lizardmen, we have a Saurus Oldblood, who is mounted on a Carnosaur, which means he has the Blessed Spawning of Itzel and the Blessed Spawning of Quetzal. The Blessed Spawning of Quetzal increases his Scaly Skin save by +1 to bring him to a 4+. He is wearing light armor and carrying the Maiming Shield, which would bring him up to a 2+ armor save. He also has the Glyph Necklace to give him a +5 ward save, and the Sword of Battle giving him another +1 attack. The Maiming Shield also gives him +1 attack, so he'll be making a grand total of 7 attacks each turn, which I did not realize how many that was until just this second. That is terrifying. In addition to that, we have 2 units of Skink Skirmishers, 1 here, 1 here, both equipped with blowpipes. We have a unit of 16 Saurus Warriors, and these have both the Blessed Spawning of Quetzal and the Blessed Spawning of Huanchi, which lets them move freely through forests and jungles, and again ups their Scaly Skin save, so they're going to be significantly harder to beat down. And then, finally, we have our Saurus Cavalry unit with their little question marks to indicate that they have stupidity, because I forgot that I had that last time I was playing this, but I have this reminder this time. So, with that all out of the way, we can jump straight into it. I've already rolled to go for who goes first, and the Lizardmen got the first. No, I didn't roll. It's Bretonnia. Bretonnia chose to pray. So, let's jump into it, and we're going to start off with a stupidity check for our poor lizard boys. And unfortunately, I have to roll dice like this because they have the cold-blooded ability, which means they'll roll 3 dice and discard the highest when taking leadership tests. So that's a pass. We're about 33 inches apart from each other, so 16-inch charge radius, quick math, which isn't always a bad idea to do when you're recording. 4 inches makes 20, 14, 17. Yeah, okay, we can just full send forward 14 inches. That's fine. There is absolutely no way that can go wrong. Next up, we're going to be moving the Carnosaur, and we're going to stomp him up behind this one, because I don't want him to get shot to bits if I can avoid it, and I am afraid that that is exactly what will happen if he is not very carefully protected. And then our Skink Skirmishers, okay, so they have 12-inch ranges. There's no way they're getting in range this turn. So we're going to book 12 inches into this cover, and 12 inches to get behind this one. And with that, our first turn for Lizardmen is done. So let's go ahead and jump on, and we're going to go straight to the Yeomen for Bretonnia. So they're going to skedaddle forward like so. Okay, let's remember that the... Can they? No, they can't go that way. Okay, so we're going to go up to here. Going to wheel them. And I just realized that I technically pre-measured, and that was a mistake. But hopefully, none of you will be too mad at me for it. Alright, so my Grail Knights are going to wheel around. And I think they'll fit correctly. I'm going to... Nope, but they aren't. It's a good thing I checked. Alright, so they go 1.5 inches. I'm going to go about 4 inches this way. I'm going to wheel them back around. It's another 1.5 inches. I think we're just going to creep forward just a little bit, because we still want the charge if we can get it. The Knights of the Realm, they're just going to rush up onto the hill and pause here. And the Knight Errants are going to ride up to here and wheel about. And I think they're about there. I don't know if it's cat picking up, but if you can hear my dog in the background, I apologize. She is decided that she wants to make her presence known by shaking significantly outside my bedroom. Not outside my bedroom, outside my office. Goodness. Can't speak today. Alright, so we've moved our men at arms forward and our peasant archers, and they're just going to march up to the hill because they can't do anything else. And then that brings us to, oh, the paladin. Okay. So let's look at this realistically. The paladin really wants, well, the Bretonnian lord, sorry, really wants to probably avoid hitting the Carnosaur right now. I don't think he can win in that fight, but he also doesn't want to hit the skink skirmishers. What he really wants is to tear through the Saurus cavalry or tear through the Saurus warriors. And then we want to try and like soften up the Carnosaur a little bit, preferably with the Grail Knights hitting them. So with that in mind, we're going to throw him right here, where next turn he can probably charge at the Saurus cavalry. Alright, and with that brings us to the shooting phase. We're going to shoot these peasant archers at the Saurus cavalry, because I don't know anything else that I can do with them. Alright, so they would normally hit on 3s, which become 4s. No, they would normally hit on 4s, which become 5s, because they have ballistic skill 3, they are shooting at long range. I cannot speak correctly. They wound on 5s, because that's strength 3 versus toughness 4. And then as Saurus cavalry, they have shields, scaly skins, that's a 5 up. And then mounted plus barding, 4 up, 3 up. Alright, so 3 up saves, let's go. Wow, okay. Unexpectedly good. That's immediate victory points for Bretonnia. Alright, so then we make another panic check for these guys. And they are fine, they don't care. So we can just pull these boys off the field. And that brings us to turn 2 for the Lizardmen. Okay, let's think about this. Well, let's start with stupidity. I'm pretty sure I need to do that first. 8, yeah, they're fine, barely. We're going to declare a charge with the Saurus cavalry at the men-at-arms. Let's see if they can get in. Yes, they can. Now, the men-at-arms need to make a fear check. But it's only one guy, so they're not going to flee. They're just checking if they can fight back effectively, and they can. So he gets in like that. Alright, and now we're on to the rest of our movement. I think what we're going to do is we're going to charge our Carnosaur right up to here. We're basically just going to terror bomb the Bretonnian side. And we're going to rotate this way because he does have facing and we need to be aware of it. Next up, the skink skirmishers are going to... No. The Saurus warriors are going to march 8 inches up onto the hill. And the skink skirmishers are then going to move 6 inches up to here. Basically just give the Knights of the Realm a decision between where they want to charge. Where neither decision is a great outcome, I think. Okay, and then the skink skirmishers, they are going to move... which way? I'm going to rush them 12 inches this way. But we're going to tuck them right into here. And I completely forgot that my fast cavalry have bows. That's okay. Realistically, they probably wouldn't have hit and done anything to the Saurus cavalry. Anyway, these two rolls were unbelievably good. Like, multiple times through. It's actually impressive. Alright, so that's going to be the end of the movement phase. I'm going to very quickly check the rolls for Terror to see if they apply right now, or if they come in at the beginning of the turn. A unit must make a terror test at the start of its turn if there's an enemy which causes terror within 6 inches. So we are good right this second. So this unit double moved, but this one didn't. So these guys are in range. It is 8 inches, so it's going to be -1 to hit from that. And skirmishes, ballistic skills are 4s, 5s, and we move so 6s. So we aren't going to do that because we're fishing for poison attacks. But if we hit on a 6, we automatically wound in every instance, but then they get a 2-up save. So that's actually not... That's a 1 in 36 chance for each shot, basically. Yeah, nothing. Probably about expected. And then we are on to the combat phase. So the Cold One Rider, he has a spear, and he has... Okay, these guys have halberds, and they have regular hand weapons. They have a rank bonus, and they will outnumber him. So if they get just 1 hit, he's guaranteed to not be able to do anything against him. I think... but I really want that armor save. Okay, we're going to use hand weapons. So that's going to be 2 attacks. They'll hit on 3s. They'll wound on 3s. They will save on 6s. No, they'll wound on 2s. Because this is a strength 5 Cold One Rider this turn. And then subsequent turns, he'll just be strength 4. So let's see. 2 dead. Unfortunately predictable. 1 that hits on 3s, wounds on 3s, and saves on 5s. Go. Nothing. Okay, so they get 1 attack back. It will hit on a 4. Yep. Wound on a 5, save on a 3. Go. Nothing. Alright, so that they outnumber. They have a rank bonus. They actually just tie in this instance, which is probably for the best. For Bretonnia, at least. Alright, so these guys... Oh, probably for the best... One of the best outcomes to both sides, honestly. Okay, so the Carnosaur. Terror Bomb. Let's start with the Knights of the Realm. So it's going to be 2d6, 9. I think that's going to be enough to make them fail. Yep, that's a fail from them. Then we're going to do the Peasant Bowman. That's a 3. They're totally fine. A 5 on our Knights Errant. And a 3 on our Men-at-Arms. So these guys are all fine. Which is really funny to me. That it's just the Knights Errant that are fleeing. But they are fleeing 3d6 inches directly away from our Carnosaur. That is going to take them 8 inches to this spot right here. And then we'll wheel them and just scoot them back a little bit. Perfect. Okay, charges. Let's see. We're going to do the Knight Errants into the Soros Cavalry. I want him dead quickly. These guys have vision. Does this guy have vision? No. Alright, so we're going to have to begrudgingly wheel our peasant archers around. And then let's get on to the rest. Oh, so these guys go in. It would be awkward, but I know from this distance that they absolutely can make it in. And they don't need to take a fear test because they are Knight Errants. They become immune to psychology the turn that they charge. Which is such a cool little rule. I think we're going to do the Yeoman to here. And we're literally just going to screen these skinks away. And then we're going to fly the Paladin to, like, here. Because what I'm scared of as the Bretonnians is the Bretonnian Lord getting shot at by the skink skirmishers, and the poison just killing the mount is, like, the big concern here. And then as for the Grail Knights, they're going to wheel... Nope, that's the wrong unit. They're going to wheel. They're going to... are they march blocked, actually? No, they are barely clear. Gonna march... about this far. They're going to wheel, and they can now see the connoisseur. I go a little bit further forward. Okay. So that is going to be the end of the movement phase. Let's get into shooting. So we have these guys. They're in short range. So they're going to be hitting on 4s because they're shooting at a large target. So they're going to go on 5 attacks that hit on 4s. Go. 2 successes. Okay. So let me quickly check the rules for shooting at models. I believe it is a 3-up. 2 hits. 1 to 4 hits the model. 5 to 6 hits the rider. Okay. So I'm going to roll attacks. 2 attacks that hit on 5s. And if they hit these, then they're hitting the rider. And if they miss them, then they're hitting the connoisseur, and I will deal with that after the fact. So he is toughness 5, so he's actually going to be saving on 6s, and he gets a 2-up armor save, because it brings it up to 4-up scaly skin. He has a shield, 3-up, he has light armor, yeah, 2-up saves. Yeah, about what I expected. And then 1 hit on the connoisseur, we're looking for a 6, we don't get it. Okay, the other 5 hit on 3s. Oh, 4 successes. It's much better. So 4 attacks, hit on 5s, wound on 6s, save on 2s. Yeah, that's about what I expected to happen. 4 attacks, hit on 1s. You will wound on 6s still, but it'll save on 4s this time. Go. Nothing. Again, about what I expected. And then over here, the yeoman will shoot at the skink skirmishers. So this is 3 attacks. Normally they would hit on 4s, they've moved, they're shooting a skirmisher, so 6s to hit, but it is 3s to wound, and they have no armor. So there's hope. That hope was false. See, I think we used up all the good rolls, killing those 2 Saurus Cavalry, and now it's just going to be miserable trying to get any other damage done this game. But that is okay. We are looking for the Paladin to try and charge the Connoisseur at some point. We just don't want that to be until he's done enough damage. And ideally, we don't want him to stay in the fight, but we do want him to... I don't know, it's a very complex situation of what we want to happen. But thankfully, we don't have to think about that too much, because right now, we have Knights hitting a Saurus Cavalry. So that is going to be 3 attacks. They will hit on 4s, they will wound on 3s. His 3-up save becomes a 4, becomes a 5. Go. Nothing. Now we have 3 horses. They'll hit on 4s, they will wound on 5s, he will save on 3s, go. Still nothing, and then next up we have the peasants, because we have initiative 1 and 2 for our Cold One and our Cold One Rider, and the men-at-arms have initiative 3. So 3 attacks, they'll hit on 4s, they will wound on 5s, and we will save on 3s, go. And he is dead. Hallelujah. So the men-at-arms are kind of stuck, but the knight-errants are free to overrun, and they're going to do exactly that. So we're going to overrun 11 inches. No, we're going to overrun 16 inches. Goodness, that's a long distance. Yep, so that's... Yeah, I mean, that's a 5, 2 5s and a 6. Goodness. Barely could roll any better than that. Okay, so that's off, and that is the end of Bretonnia's turn 2. So this is actually just the end of turn 2 in general. So far, Bretonnia is winning. That probably won't last. So we're going to do the Connoisseur Old Blood. What he really wants... Oh, Connoisseur on... The Old Blood on Connoisseur. I don't know why I read the name that I have printed here. And you don't think about it. Okay, so we're looking for... The line is about here, where he'll stop being seen by the Grail Knights. I should have wheeled them a bit more. So what we're going to do is we're going to charge at the men-at-arms. They have to make a fear test, which they have passed because they can use the Grail Knights leadership. So this guy goes here, just slams into them. And that is going to be a good time for them. The skinks are going to stay here so that they can try and machine gun down the yeomen. And these skinks, where are these skinks going to go? They're going to go, I think, no, this way down. Yeah, I think that's going to be like the best I can do. And then we're going to face the Saurus warriors around the unit 4, so wheel that 2.2. Go a little bit closer. We're just trying to absorb the Grail Knights with them and try and get the best possible trade. That's a real unlikely one to go well, especially with the Lord threatening the charge. But fingers crossed. So up here we've got skinks. They are firing at short range. Yeah, I'm going to call this guy short range. He's technically barely not, but like I don't want to roll him separate. So they're going to firing at short range. So they'll be normally hitting on 4s. They're going to multi-shots. They're going to hit on 5s. And I have to split out the 6s. Okay, so we have 3 attacks that will then wound on 4s. That's 1 more success. And then 2 attacks that will save on 4 mounted yeomen. I don't have them listed in here. That's weird. So they have horses, shields. Let me quickly check if they have any light armor. I don't think they do, but they might. No, because they're still fast cavalry, so they didn't take light armor. So that is going to be 5 ups to save, and they have failed 2, so that is 2 dead yeomen. About an expected result. And then we'll make a panic check in a bit. And then these guys, are they in range? Yes, they are. They've got 4 in range. Okay, they're shooting. They moved. So that's down to 5 up. They shooting at long range is down to 6 up. They would, if they double shot, normally go down to a 7 up, and then you can't poison. But because it's a large target, they can actually do it. So we're going to do 8 shots that hit on 6s. 2 hits. Okay. So we've got 2 attacks that will hit on 5s, will wound on 1s. And the save is going to be 2 with a reroll. Yeah, that's exactly what I expected. 1 hit to him, and then 1 hit to the Hippogriff, which is unsavable. No, it's not unsavable. Let me double check that. I think Blessing of the Lady might extend to mounts as well. And that is really important in this instance, because if it does, then it's a save. The Blessing also affects the mount of any affected unit. So Hippogriffs and Pegasus this game, yep, okay, fantastic. And so he always gets a 5 up. So on a 5, no. Alright, so that's 1 mount wound. And now it looks silly because it obstructs the terror, but we will remember that he causes terror. Okay, and then 2d6 for the boys up here. That is a 7. They're close to the knights though. And the knight errants are leadership 7, so they are fine. They aren't panicking. Now let's get to the Carnosaur and the Old Blood. Whoops, I try not to show those, but whatever. Okay, so strength 5 with 7 attacks. 7 attacks, hit on 3s, wound on 2s, save on... Let's be realistic here. Are they saving at all? No, they're not saving on 6s. So, like, the halberds are probably better, so we're going to give them no save. And that is 4 dead guys. Alright, and then the Carnosaur. And he gets 4 attacks. That will hit on 3s, wound on 2s, no save, go. 2 more dead men-at-arms. That's no attacks back. They are outnumbered, so they automatically flee now. And then that is going to give Frenzy to our Carnosaur, which is not a good time for the Bretonnians. So we're going to be flinging 2d6, and then he's going to be pursuing. Does he want to pursue actually, or does he want to restrain? Let's think about this real quick. If he pursues, he's going to end up somewhere over here, where he has some juicy knight errants to hit, but he really wants to hit the Bretonnian Lord. But is that going to happen this game? Like, genuinely, seriously, is that going to happen? The Hippogriff just can fly around wherever it wants. If the Hippogriff dies to the Skinks, which is quite plausible, it does only have 4 wounds. If it dies, then he becomes free pickings for the Old Blood, and that's basically going to be game. But these knights can actually see the Skink, so they're just going to charge around the corner. I think we're going to restrain. We have a charge in this direction. Okay, we're going to restrain. So, where is this one? Alright, so he successfully restrains, so these guys go 10 inches. And then they broke from combat, and they are within barely 6 inches. I think that's panic range. Again, pardon me as I double check the rules to make sure I don't do anything wrong. Friends break from combat within 6 inches. Yes. Okay. So this is the peasants, and they flee 5 inches. So lucky Bretonnians, they don't go off the board yet. Okay, and these guys are all dead, so pull them up here. Did I delete the other 2 peasants that died? I think I did. Oh well. It's not important right now, it's just I'm trying to build a habit because I'm working on theory crafting some new macros that will make doing these videos to make other battle reports significantly easier in the future. Alright, so let's get back to it then. We have some Knights of the Realm that need to rally and some peasant archers that need to rally. Okay, realistically, these guys, as I've said, yeah, they can't see the Carnosaur. So we're going to slam Grail Knights into the Saurus Warriors, Paladin into the Saurus Warriors. We're going to slam the Knight Errants into the... Just going to double check. Yeah, into the Skinks, who are going to stand and shoot in response. And are they actually? Is that really the wise decision? Oh, we can't even get the charge off correctly unless we also charge the Mounted Humans. So we're going to charge them all in. And I think in that case, the Skink Skirmishers are going to flee. Okay, yep, so that's what we're going to do. So, Skink Skirmishers go 5 inches backwards. Oh, that's bad for them. So, this guy, 16 inches kills them. And he is now 1 unit, so I think he doesn't get slowed. Oh, no, he does. So, he's at 13. So he will just go like 15 inches in to there. These guys go forward. Wait, sorry, I didn't check how far forward they went. That's about 1.7. They wheel 1.5. They go 1. I'm trying to make 1.3 forward. They wheel. So that's what? 3, 6, 10 inches, and they stop about here, yeah. Alright, so dead Skinks, perish, and then here we have our terror check from these guys. And they are totally fine. So we have a Bretonnian Lord on the flank. He needs to sit here, really. Grail Knights on the front. Wheel, maximize. Did I roll? No, I haven't yet done my rallying, because I haven't got to that point yet. So, rallying. Knights of the Realm. They rally. Peasants. They also rally. So we're going to spin the knights to face this way. The peasants are just going to sort of reform and face that way. These guys can all see him, that's totally fine. And the men-at-arms go 8 inches closer to the board edge. Alright, so that is onto our shooting phase. A unit that rallies, can it shoot? Let me quickly see if I can find the answer to this question. And I will be back in a moment. Alright, I am back. I couldn't find anything that says that they can't, and I believe I recall in previous games having played that they can, so I'm going to continue doing that in this particular battle. So, with that in mind, let's get some shooting done. We have these guys in short range, and these guys in short range. I believe because they rallied, these guys count as moving. So, these ones would have a 3 up to hit, these guys will have 4 up. So we will roll them each separately. And then once I've got the total hits, I will pull them together. So these are 4 ups to hit. Okay, so these are 6 hits. They'll hit on 5s if they're hitting the rider. Nothing, but only 3 hits to him. And then we have 3 attacks that hit on 1s, that will wound on 6s, and will only save on 4s. But still nothing. Unfortunate, but also kind of predicted. So that brings us to our combat phase. So we have 3 Grail Knights. Grail Knights, I believe, are 2 attacks and strength 4. So against toughness 4, they have Lancers, so we're going to be looking at 6 attacks that hit on 3s, that wound on 2s. These guys have a 5 up save, so basically heavy armor with shields and hand weapons, brings them to a 3 up save. Strength 6 brings them back down to a 6. And that is 3 dead Saurus Warriors on the front. And then 3 attacks from the horses, and if one of these kills someone, then they don't get to attack back, but unfortunately it didn't. So now we are on to the Bretonnian Lord. So he gets 4 attacks. He hits on 3s. He always wounds on 3s, so he's strength 5 effectively. And that makes a -2 to their armor save, so 5s to save. And that gets 1. Keeping in mind that, so the first 3, these 3, were basically these guys. And then this one is actually basically this guy. So this guy and these 2 guys can still fight back right now. But we will see what happens after the Hippogriff gets all of its attacks in. So we have 4 extra attacks. They will hit on 4s, I believe. I think that's correct. No, it hits on 3s, actually. Wow. Saurus Warriors are only weapon skill 4. I did not know that. I genuinely would have expected them to be weapon skill 4. It's strength, I guess it's going to be exactly the same. 3s, 3s, 5s. I could have rolled these all together. 2 more dead. So that's basically peels off this line, and then there's only one guy who can hit the Grail Knight. So we're going to do that. 2 attacks, hit on 4s, wound on 3s, save on 3s, go. Nothing. That's expected. Okay, so with that then, we have, let me think, 6 points of damage, 7 because we're flanking. This is, I believe, 11 unit score versus 10 guys. That's a very bad situation that they find themselves in. I'm not sure if a 4 is even enough. I'm not sure if there's anything that's enough, actually. Yeah, leadership 8, -6, -7, -8. Yeah, no, there's no hope. Alright, so they're going to flee 286 inches. They're going 10 inches, and we are pursuing with both. So this is going to be the Lord and the Grail Knights. And so in this instance, I believe they flee from the bigger unit. So they go 10 inches this way. The Grail Knights go 9 inches down here. They hit these guys. Yep, so these guys are dead. And they have now successfully charged some skinks, which is not a good time for the skinks. And I'm just going to manually rank them up because I don't care if it looks pretty today. Alright, so that is the end of turn 3, I believe. Yep, just the end of turn 3. I feel like the game should be closer to the end because I am used to the blowouts that have happened in my Border Patrol games. And this is, quite frankly, also a bit of a blowout with everything but the Carnosaur dead on the Lizardman side. But it's not the biggest thing. Okay, so Lizardman turn. Carnosaur is frenzying, so he has to charge something. The only thing he can really see to charge is these peasant archers, so they're going to stand and shoot. They will hit on 4s. He has 5 attacks, hit on 4s. Go. Oh, sorry, no, they have to make a fear check first. My apologies. I forgot about this. 8. Alright, so that's going to be a fail, and they're going to flee 5 inches off the, well, not off the board, but away from him. And then he goes potentially 14 inches. No, not quite. So he goes 7 inches after them. And I think he might actually be doomed here. Because I don't see how he can enable himself to turn around while the blood frenzy is on. So I think what's going to happen is he's going to charge these guys on turn 4. Or no, this is turn 4. He's going to charge them on turn 5, get pulled even further off the board. Turn 6, he comes back, he can't charge. Bretonnians win by default. But we're going to play it out real quick, even though I can kind of see the writing on the wall. So, Grand Lights hitting skinks. Yep, they're dead. We aren't going to overrun, we're going to restrain. Yep, they both restrained, so they're totally fine. Bretonnian turn. These guys just flee off the board. Everyone else has already rallied. So these guys about turn and then go 4 inches this way. This guy flies right up to here. Keeping in mind, because he is a character, he is stuck looking this way. We see if these guys rally. I should have done that first. They don't. They flee off the board. Oh, sorry, let me double check that actually. 4 inches. Yeah, it's up the board. Okay, so then, Knights of the Realm. We're going to wheel them, 1.5. And then we're going to gallop them. Yeah, about that far, about 12 inches. And we're going to wheel them this way. This guy is going to just trot out. And Knight Errants are going to... They're going to turn this way, actually. I'm not going to straighten them out because they're going to go that far. No, actually. They're not going to do this. This is silly. They're going to do this. 1.5. I'm going to count that as that correct, as being correct. But now that he's wheeling through, this is going to be 3, so at 4.5. And then they are at 10.5, and then they have like 10.5, 12, 4 more inches. There we go. These guys are just going to stand and shoot. These guys are facing, I think, the wrong way, technically, so I'm going to spin them back around to the right way. No, sorry, these guys are the wrong way around. That's what's happening here. These guys are the right way. Alright, and then the archers are just going to fire at this guy. They're in short range. So 5 attacks, hit on 3s. 3 successes. 3 attacks, hit on 5s, wound on 6s, save on 2s. Go. And then 1 against Carnosaur. Nothing. Okay, so the Carnosaur's turn. He can avoid the Paladin. Does he want to avoid the Paladin? This is actually a serious question, because if the Carnosaur can stay in the fight with the Paladin and win, just survive a turn, then he's actually, like, very powerful. And just losing the Paladin is enough to really hurt Bretonnia. Oh, yes, by the way, that was end of turn 4. So what he's going to do, he doesn't want to get charged by the Knights of the Realm or the Grail Knights. So we're going to turn him around to face this way. I'm going to move him right here. Keep him in vision radius of the Paladin, of the Bretonnian Lord, because we do want that charge to happen. And we're going to just sort of... Actually, what we're going to do is we're going to make sure that we can't see him. No, I do want to fight him. I absolutely want to charge him. Of course I want to charge him. That's the stupidest thing to not charge him. Okay, so that's going to be that turn. That's end of turn 5. Now, Paladin, he doesn't want this charge. The Knight Errants. Knights of the Realm can't really... The intent was to line of sight block, actually. I'm going to quickly just double check. Did I succeed? Not even close. I'm going to swing him further this way then. Because if I was playing this, I would be like leaning down and checking all my line of sights and stuff with a physical table. So I'm going to let myself do this. Yeah, I'm going to call this as not being able to see again. I would get it correct if I was actually physically playing. And then the Grail Knights can see him, but can't really get a charge because this guy's still in the way. Okay, so the Knight Errants. I don't want to charge. Let's see if I have a choice. No, I don't have a choice because they are impetuous, which means that if they fail a leadership test before they charge, then they will charge regardless. So, at 12 inches away, I would wheel them like so. Slam them in. Go my psychology immune madmen. Align. And then the Paladin is going to just fly away to clear up space for the Grail Knights to rush right forward. And then they're gonna wheel like this. Oops, sorry, wrong unit. Like that. I'm gonna scoot them over to actually be the correct alignment. Because they know that there's a decent chance that these guys are all gonna die and he can overrun this way to escape danger. And I don't want that to happen. Knights of the Realm, exact same situation. They were meant to be facing that way. Peasant archers can't see them. These two units just don't need to do anything at this point in time. If I was playing this for a battle report, at this stage they would just sort of like stop doing anything and I would just hope that no one noticed, basically. Alright, so we have the Knights Errant. What do I want to hit with them? This is a serious question. If we kill the Carnosaur, that's 200 victory points. But it's 5 wounds. There's no way we're killing that. I think we just YOLO throw them all into the Saurus Old Blood and hope. So they're going to hit on 4s. They're going to wound on 4s. He's 2 save, 3 save, 4 save. Go. That's a wound. And it's not a saved wound. Goodness. Wounds. 1 wound. Got my little RuneScape damage hit marker out for you all. And then I'm going to throw these ones also into... This is the horses. We're just throwing them into the... Yeah, we're going to throw them into the Old Blood because that one in... What is that? What's 36 times 2? 72? 1 in 72 chance. 3 in 72 chance. No, never mind. Okay, now then, the Old Blood strikes back. We've been over this. 7 attacks. He'll hit on 3s. He'll wound on 2s. They would be saving on 2s. They would be saving on 3s. They would be saving on 4s. Go. Oh, that's interesting. Carnosaur. 4 attacks. Hit on 3s, wound on 2s, save on 5s, go. But they still have their 5-up save from that. So only, from Blessing of the Lady, so only one of them dies. So they're outnumbered by 1. They are immune to psychology this turn, though. So they don't auto-break. And, they had the flank, but then obviously one of them died, so they didn't have the flank anymore. That's really sad for them. But, roll 2d6. 11, they're fleeing 3d6 inches. They're just going 6 inches. Alright, this is turn 5, correct? Yeah. And then the Carnosaur is going to pursue. No, he's not. He's going to try and hold, actually, is what he's going to do. Of course he's going to do that. Because this is really the only way to try and salvage this game. Is to kill some Grail Knights. And you can only do that on the charge. So, end of turn 5. Into turn 6. This is the final opportunity. The Carnosaur is going to is forced basically to charge something. He's going to charge the Grail Knights. In he goes. He looks so silly with the marker over his head, but that's how Map Tool does things, so that's how it be. Okay, so then he gets 7 attacks. Hit on 3s, wound on 2s, save on 2s, 3s, 4s. Go. Nothing. Carnosaur. 4 attacks, 3s, 2s, 5s. And we're going to say reroll misses because their ward save is the same as their armor save in this instance. And one of them dies. Alright, so then I am going to put these guys into the Old Blood as well, because a single hit is enough to make him score victory points on him. And that is very good for them. And they are not high enough to get a good hit. 5s to wound, 3s to save. Go. Nothing. And then... Oh, no, I only rolled 2, sorry. My bad. 4s, 5s, 3s, go. No hits. Okay, I should have known better. I should have assumed that they weren't going to do anything. Okay, so 1 dead, outnumbered, terror causing, but that doesn't count because they're immune to psychology. So they test at a -2, a 7, they are leadership 8, but they're within 12 inches of their general who has leadership 9. So these guys stay in for this turn. Alright, so then let's get some final turn of Bretonnia done. The Knight Errant's rally. The Knights of the Realm can see his flank. Do I want to charge them in or no? I mean, why not, right? So yeah, we're going to try and charge them in. 9, are they within 12 inches? Barely, so they also get his leadership. So I'm just going to scoot them up. Wheel them around, slam them in. And then that brings us back to the combat phase. I'm not moving anything else. There is absolutely no need to. If this was a full-size game, I would need to, because I would be wanting to get this guy into one corner, this guy's into another, just to get some victory points scored. But that isn't a factor in this game. And if I was playing with a real person, as if I'm not a real person. If I was playing with another person and I didn't know the objectives, I would consider doing it just to sort of bluff something else. But that is not necessary in this game. So, Knights of the Realm, they're just going to put all of it into the Old Blood. Do they want to put all of it into the Old Blood? It's only a 5 wound Carnosaur. It's theoretically possible that we bring it down. It's more possible. I forgot it was frenzied for bonus attacks. Whoops. Oh well, whatever. Yeah, we're going to do that. So it's going to be 4s to wound, and it's going to save on... So normally 4s, 5s, 6s. Go. 1 wound to the Carnosaur. We're looking for 2 more. So I'm going to put 3 horse attacks into it. 4s, 6s, 4s, go, nothing. Alright, 2 remaining Grail Knights. They are also going to put it into Carnosaur. Nothing, and the last 2 horses into the Carnosaur as well. 4, 6, 4. And that is a second mount wound. Not enough, unfortunately, but oh, so close. Okay, so we are going to attack with the Old Blood first, and we are going to be putting it all into the Grail Knights. I don't care, I just want them dead. 3s to hit, 2s to wound, 2, 3, 4 to save, roll, nothing. 5 attacks to the Carnosaur, the correct number this time. 2s to save, 2s to wound, 5s to save, rerolling. We still kill 1. Amazing. But this time, he took 2 wounds. He is charged on the flank. He is outnumbered. Does he break? This is the final dice roll of the turn of the game. 8. Yes, he does. He is going at 3d6 inches away. He's going 12 inches directly away. And we are giving chase. And neither side catches him. But he is fleeing at the end of the battle. So that still counts as him being defeated. So, with that done, we are looking at 500. No, we are looking at /roll 500. Sorry, /roll 463, 565 divided by 5, 93. So we are looking at, this is a 499 point model army technically, so 499 minus 93 plus 463 plus 20%, 0.2 times 500, which is the actual technical size of this game. 969 victory points for Bretonnia versus a mere 30 plus 35 plus 50 plus 24 plus 114 divided by 2 because I can't do math is, I didn't type /roll in front of that, whoops, versus 196 victory points for the Lizardmen. So not even close, but also it felt a little close for a little bit there. The Soros Cavalry got really unlucky at the beginning. There were just more units for Bretonnia, so that they could... There was more play potential, basically. The gigantic Blockosaurus Warriors kind of was putting a lot of eggs in one basket, and that basket was then dropped all over the floor, basically. That was 241 points just down the drain. More than half of what they had outside of the Lord. But I think this worked really well, actually. I had a lot of fun playing it. The Lords sort of like dancing around each other is interesting. I'm not entirely convinced by my decision to make them count for their normal amount of victory points. I think maybe literally just dividing them by 50 is probably dividing them by 5 and then like having like a bonus 50, 100 victory points or something for killing them is probably better. Because right now it's sort of like the army is 400 and... Well, what? 400 and... what did I say? Yeah, 407 points worth of Lizardmen army and 463 for the Old Blood. Like, yeah, just kill him and you win the game if your Lord doesn't die. Which is something I kind of knew was probably going to be a problem, but I was sort of like, yeah, I'll just try it out. Like if it's how it's going to be, it's how it's going to be. But I do think changing it to just have the amount of victory points that it costs to put him in your army is better. With that said, I had a lot of fun. I'm gonna do this again. This was not an absolute disaster like I feared it would be, and this game took significantly longer. I have actually been recording for over an hour today. Wow, that hasn't happened yet. So I hope you all enjoyed it. Don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, all that fun stuff. Tomorrow, we have an 800-point game. No gimmicks. It's just a regular game. It is going to be between the Ogre Kingdoms and Hordes of Chaos. I've never played ogres before today. I have a friend who plays them. He likes them, but he's not very active with the game. So I don't have much experience with them, but I'm excited to try them out. I'm excited to show that Marauders of Chaos are good. You can do good things with them. You do not need to just spam the Warriors of Chaos, which seems to be the case for a lot of Chaos armies. Or prove myself a complete idiot as I get absolutely rolled by the ogres. Who knows what's going to happen? But I hope you will all enjoy that one. And I hope you'll tune in again to see more Little Lords, because I liked this. I have thoughts. I have future plans that I'm going to test out, including just removing magic item caps. And yeah, why not put 300 points worth of magic items on your elect account? Go nuts. Let's see what happens. But until then, boy.